Hey everybody, it's Jennifer from the Rust Belt Chronicles, and we are here in Mansfield, Ohio at the Electric Company with Black Coffee. I'll say in alphabetical order. You have Justin, Tommy, and they're opening tonight with the Bubble Flag show.
Yes, very excited.
They are one of our favorite bands out of Columbus, Ohio, and we've covered them a few times before at the Rust Belt Chronicles, but I think this is the first time we've actually interviewed you for Rock Lines, for sure.
I think so.
And maybe even all together, so we're kind of excited to have them here. Amazingly, and I say that because they're so talented, you guys have not really been together that long. It's only been a little over a year, correct?
Yep, it's a little over a year in April.
Yep. And which you wouldn't know if you saw them play, because it seems like you kind of just grew up together doing this. But if I understand right, Tommy introduced you two, and that's how it.
Mm-hmm. Tell the
story.
It's a long story. Mm-hmm. I did not know Justin before Tommy is the best way that you can put that.
We met him at the same time, but I did not know Ehab before.
They were in a band.
Tommy.
I was in a different band. We played a show together. That's the first time I was ever introduced to the two. Tommy, when he actually went to Berkeley for college for studying whatever that thing is.
College. I don't know that's what I ended up staying for, but that's what I went for.
He went over there and came back for a winter break, and when he came back from winter break, Tommy and I had been jamming in a band called Electric Dream Machine, and that's how I met Justin.
Okay, so that's how you came together. You have obviously a very vintage style, and we are in their van doing this interview, so it doesn't get more vintage than that. And they have a tape deck, Vazzy up front there. So
speak of the devil.
But is this sort of vintage feel that you have? Did that happen? Did that happen kind of organically, or did you all kind of come already with that, or is it something that developed when you came together?
Basically, like me and Justin grew up on 60s, 70s, 80s rock. You know, like I grew up listening to all kinds of Sabbath and Zeppelin. You know, Ted Nugent, Bad Company. All that, Deep Purple. He grew up the same exact way, Van Halen, AC/DC, all that good stuff. So that's just how we naturally do it. And then this man, he spent a majority of his life listening to like Michael Jackson and stuff.
Like James Brown, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
I listen to
Michael Jackson.
I listen to a lot of pop, way more pop influenced things. And when I was in middle school, I ran into this kid named Nick that actually ended up joining his band, and he kind of showed me the 80s and the 90s. And then when I ran into these two, they showed me the 60s and the 70s, and like they kind of were telling me like, dude, everything that you write sounds like it's from the freaking 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Like, here, listen to this music. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I was just telling them on the car right here, I was like, dude, I just listened to a Jimi Hendrix album for the first time ever, and they're like, dude, come on, catch up.
Because you sound like you're from that era. That floors me. Like, well, thank you guys for introducing him to this. Otherwise,
exactly. I'm very happy to be where I am now.
We drug him from the shallows.
Tommy and I have been playing for 5 years on and off now, and we've been able to establish this repertoire of old music together. And Tommy's just this walking relic. Honestly, when it comes to that. So, he's just this library of music where it's like he said, have I listened to a Grand Funk Railroad start to finish without Tommy? Nope.
I'm the vinyl guy. I'm the dude that's I'm not only going to introduce you to the band, but you have to sit down and listen to the entire thing, start to finish. You don't get to just listen to a song. So that's how I drug these two around.
Hey, it's working. So. Any formal training in music, or just kind of came naturally to each of you?
Me.
With me, it was natural. I think all of us you have that first thing that you go naturally to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whether you're a drummer or a guitar player or a singer, it's something that you discover about yourself pretty early on. Where you're okay, I'm catching on to this a little bit quicker than maybe I could catch on to something else. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you sound when we go to shows and everything, you sound like you're formally trained. You sound like you have all the pieces together. And when you have a 3-person band, you have to have everything together, or else
I'm the closest thing to formal training, I guess, because my dad played. My dad's been playing for 30 years now, and he taught me.
You had in-home tutoring.
Yes, exactly. Yes, all day.
I did go to school, but it was more about jazz. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was which opened me up to a lot of great music and stuff, you know, and a different style of playing. So I can kind of, that's like what I'm trying to get into now, is bringing like a different approach into some of the stuff that we're writing now. It's like, he's like saying like he's just getting into Hendrix stuff, like I'm getting into this like Peter Frampton kick.
Mm-hmm.
Like Frampton just has all these jazz rock licks that he plays that's like incredible, but I still, at the same time, even though like went to school, I still kind of pushed myself away from what I was learning because I just wanted to play rock music, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's easier when you're going with feel in your ear, you know, than trying to break down an algebraic equation.
Yeah.
In music.
So you have an album out now, a new album that came out in April, and the first video directed by John Payne. I've seen quite a lot of feedback on.
Mr. John
Payne. Tell us about your new album and what went into making that, and kind of what the thought was behind it and the motivations. And
so Take One is our debut album. It's the first thing we've ever released together. It kind of incorporates our first songs, just, you know, the first moments of us being in a room together, the first time that any of us really sat down and tried to write a song with one another. But what kind of went into making it is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of arguing, not really with ourselves, but with the standards nowadays of recording. You know, the constant click track, the triggers, the voice correction, all that kind of stuff that you hear on a modern record that we decided not to do, was probably the biggest challenge, I think, was just, hey, I know this is crazy, but let's try it this way. Let's do this. And it was very rewarding to have people tell us that they liked what they hear, even though that's something that's from the 70s that you don't see.
And even the people that tried to kind of steer us in that modern direction still, when like they heard kind of what we were going for, you know, were like on board immediately. And it was like, oh, okay, now that I've wrapped my mind around what you guys are trying to do and accomplish, you're like, now I get it. Like, okay, we're on the same page. So it wasn't like a back and forth thing. It was like, okay, it was like, this is where we're going. Like, you know, it was just all full steam ahead after that, you know.
Absolutely.
Like our engineer Colin Coffey over at John Schwab Recording, where we recorded the album. Like he's always like the perfect example of like how people like treat us in the music industry, because like we walked in, you know, and he was like, all right, cool, so we're gonna, you know, do this, and this, and this, and this. And we were like, no, we're not gonna do it. And he was like, all right, so you know that's gonna mean this, right? And we're like, dude, we know we know what it means. And he was like, all right, we'll try it. And then like once he realized that like that actually was what we were going for, then he was like full on, you know, like coming up with, you know, crazier off the wall shit than we were, being like, yo, if this is what you're going for, try this, you know. And so like, and that's the kind of support that we received from everybody, like John Payne and like the whole Columbus. Like on our album, we thank the entire Columbus music scene, because that's true. Because like all the seasoned veterans who have known us since we were 15 and 16 are like seeing what we're trying to do, and like they're like, oh, okay, so like, you know, now with the album and everything, especially, they understand it. So now they're like coming to us with like, you know,
and it's a modern sounding album. I mean, it has those vintage kind of qualities, you know what I mean, where it's like, okay, you can see like, here's the influences, you know, this is the stuff that they grew up on, but it still is something that can, I think, people that are used to listening to modern music can identify with. It's not something that like totally sticks out like a sore thumb, you know.
Yeah.
That's what we tried for.
It's working. It's working for sure. So, if you could go on your dream tour tomorrow, with 3 bands, dead or alive.
3 bands.
Oh, 3 other bands,
dead or
alive.
Oh, can I start?
Yeah, we each get one.
You start.
Tommy, go first.
Oh, so we each pick a band, or we each get our lineup?
No, you get to pick one. You can pick one band.
Oh, okay, Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, done. All right, so
those 2, not necessary.
Black Coffee, Led Zeppelin.
Well, see, I've got I've got a couple. You know what I mean?
3, 2, 1.
Van Halen for sure.
There we go.
Okay, Van Halen.
Knew that
Led Zeppelin, Van Halen with David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this band that he knows I hates.
I know
and
what
he
I
loves
want. Guns and fucking Roses.
I was going to see AC/DC with Bond.
That's what I was going to do.
You know what I'm saying?
But only because he reacted the way he did. Because, he doesn't like Guns N' Roses.
Any of those sound like a good
And listen, if you want to not like our band because of him, I get it. I know.
Now, people just turned off. They're like,
email the band and tell
Tommy
us.
doesn't like Guns N' Roses. What is wrong with
Unfollow. CD, snap, trash can, t-shirt. Fuck those guys.
So, in the last year that you've been around, it just seems like kind of almost been a tumbleweed effect. Like more and more people are aware of you and seeing what you're doing. What can fans and people watching this now and checking out your stuff, what can they do to help you guys the most? Buy CDs, like your stuff? What helps like an up-and-coming band the most these days? With social media and pirating music and everything, I think sometimes it gets confusing to people how to really best help the bands that they really want to support.
The best way to help any band that you love, buy their music, follow them on all their social media sites, follow them on Spotify, get their subscriptions up and all that kind of fun stuff, and go out and see shows.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Like that's the number one thing.
Come out and see shows.
Following all the social media, like stay up on the events, stay up on the shows, and like if there's a band that you like, us, anybody, coming to your place, like go see a show. Because like any band, us, we're here with Boba Flex, any band, it's a completely different, and you guys know, seeing them live versus listening to the album. And that can make bands as that live performance.
Absolutely.
So it's important to go see shows.
Absolutely, yeah, because I think you guys kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, wear your music well. It all comes together, and it's a show. So definitely go check them out. What's the best place for people to find your stuff, find your music, your
Official Black Coffee.
Facebook.
Just Google Black Coffee because you'll just Black Coffee. So.
Yeah, don't know.
Black Coffee Band.
Black Coffee Band.
Not Tim Hortons.
Our music's on Spotify. You can listen to it there.
Apple Music,
iTunes,
all that
YouTube.
Okay, cool. So check them out. Buy their album. Take one. Check out their video. And thank you guys so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for having us in your van.
The humble abode.
It's like the Millennium Falcon. It's not much, but she's
it
got a few tricks.
It made the Kessel run in 400 parsecs.
Right.
Got you here.
She ain't fast.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.